Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Reptile Rejects. Tonight we're going to be accompanied by my good friend Shan, which is going to be our co-host for the day. Michael is gone house shopping, doing all this shit, trying to buy a new house. I think he actually bought it. He's going there to pay some bills and make sure everything's good and sign some papers. And our guest tonight is going to be Ish, which is I'm really looking forward to it. So I'm pretty sure Shan is too, which is a fellow Morelia breeder. I mean, we can never go wrong with Morelia breeder. We don't have to talk about color grids all night, which I'll be happy. Michael will be sad, but it's okay. We're all good with that. Before we start going through what's new and what's going on, I'm just going to talk about our sponsor, Cornell's World. Great guy, Greg West. He's in the west end of Canada. He's famous mainly for custom reptile caging, for terrariums, for snake racks, for all your supply needs. Lots of great stuff. I've got a couple of cages. I love them. And they're also in charge of I might screw this up, and I apologize, Greg, if you're listening to this, the Western Canadian Reptile Show. Did I kind of get that right? Which is basically the biggest show on the western side. They have shows, I think, about every couple of months. I'd say every 2 months, 2.5 months. Usually this is Mike doing this, so if you guys aren't happy, complain to Mike. I don't know how to do this. This isn't my job. But anyway, Cornell's World, Greg West, great guys, cornellworld.com. Log in, go check what they have. Except for that, guys, we are on episode 33 today, and we're going to start it off with very simple. Shan, what's up? What's new with you? What's going on in your collection? Any babies popping out? Any eggs popping out? What's going on?
No eggs yet. I did talk to you earlier this week and told you that possible that Granite's gonna go there. She shedded, so expecting some eggs, hopefully in the next, I don't know, a week or so. I'd say probably the 13th is the 13th of February, so maybe it'll be 14th, Valentine's Day or something.
Yeah. And I'll just say this. I want to say the story on that just so we're clear. So just so Ish follows too. So Shan is breeding my female granite het axe to my male exanthic het granite, which I have both of them, but he wanted to use my male for one of his females, so I'm like, I need that guy for that girl. He's like, I'm just going to take them all to be able to use your male. So he's breeding my male to my female and producing eggs with them. I'm like, so you're producing my snakes at your house. Anyway, it's kind of cool. I'm happy he got him going.
Whatever works. So
eggs are eggs, man. I'm happy they're all coming back here after. So
pretty much what I want to do is prove out my female, right? So my female is Exanthic, 66% het for granite. So prove her out. Try to prove her out anyway. And if not, well, on to another project. I already have a female everything's from you, Dom, but basically I already have a female 2024 granite 100% het axe, and then this year's marble was a great addition, so yeah, pretty happy. Apart from that, the Warma looks really good. I'm not sure yet, still got them together.
She better go this year, man. She better go.
Oh man, I'm telling you, she's plump. Spotted look good. Like, a lot of things are together, but I haven't seen anything yet. No ovulation yet of any sort. I could have missed it, but so looking on some jungles to go, but it's still early. Like, I'm just starting to raise temperatures back up, so I'm in no hurry.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah. On my end, honestly, I'm not getting as much locks as I would like. My inland, one of the female inlands is, I can feel the lumps. She's got definitely eggs. I don't know if she ovulated or if I missed it and she's just really plump, because she looks like she's swelling, and I can clearly feel each egg on her. So one of the inlands is definitely going. I've got one of the pygmy females is gigantic. She looks like she's like this big around, which is ridiculous, and I can feel every single egg. She's gone like 4 years in a row now, I think. I think she's on her 4th year. So she's full of eggs, and she's blue now, so should have eggs out of her in about, 23, 24 days. My other female IJ, so my West Papuan that is actually the mother that produced the marbles 2 years in a row now, which she produced it with the male that I sent to Shan, which were my two proven that were both like one gene and head of the other. But I separated them when we both did to be able to prove out other snakes in our collection to know who's actually head of the other one. So she's going to go this year. She's in blue too. And except for that, my jungles, I mean, there's breedings, but there's no ovulation. The zebras, the ocelot zebras are breeding, but no ovulation. My super zebras are together. I've got a pair of super zebras that couldn't give a shit about each other, don't go near each other. So I've always wanted to do super zebra to super zebra, but I don't think it's going to go this year because they couldn't care less about each other. My coastal projects are looking mighty good this year. Well, mighty good for me and mighty bad for Shan, and I'll say why this after. Sorry, brother. So I've got I've got two main males. One male is a super hypo tiger, and he's paired up to. What the heck is he paired up to? Just an exanthic, and they've locked up multiple times, and he's paired up to a hypo tiger caramel, and he's paired up and hooked up to them. So they've both been locking up, but no ovulation yet. But again, early. And my other male is the super caramel exanthic, which is a pretty powerful male. He's bred many times. He's a proven breeder like 4 or 5 years in a row. He's produced so many offsprings, and I decided to use that male only for Shan's girls. So Shan sent me 2 girls to breed with them. He won't touch them. I've never seen a lock. He won't go near them. They sleep in opposite ends. They never sleep together. Sometimes they cuddle, but I don't know why. And he's fathered so many clutches, and that's the kind of male that locks up to everything. Like he breeds a rope. So it's been really weird. I don't know why he's not interested. I was debating on whether to switch and put the super hypo tiger male with your girls just to see 1 or 2 days if they lock up. And the 2 girls are girls. We've checked them multiple times. They're definitely females. So on that end, not great.
They're probably too young.
Yeah, I'm thinking they might be because they're what, 3.5.
Yeah, I would say almost 3.
Okay,
they're
so
not.
They're
not.
on the young side. That's probably why.
They're a little on the young side.
Yeah.
But my 2 males are doing good. My 2 male jungles from this year that I decided to use, I've seen them both lock up, so that's a good thing. I just haven't seen anything yet, so I'm pretty excited about that.
And for everybody, I do have I have a trio of roughies which couldn't care less about each other. They sleep together all the time. They're big. They're all like, well, the largest female is 6 feet. The others are males 4.5. Other females 5. They're definitely sexually mature. They cuddle all the time. I've never seen a lock, so I'd love for them to go, but I'm not getting much there. And my pair of diamonds, which my room will not go below 64. Now we were talking to Ish about it right before the show. I sent them to Shan, and Shan is successfully scaring the shit out of me. Told me that the room went down to 47 point something last night. It's at the coldest of the coldest, which is, I don't know, like, it's so scary to hear that. I'm like, fuck, man, you killed my snakes, you owe me a pair of diamonds. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, you told me to get them that cold.
I did tell you. It doesn't change. I'm going to panic about it.
Right.
Hate it. It's so scary, and I know they can take it, right? You know it, but, man, it's just so not natural. It just doesn't feel right. So...
Exactly. When you go into that room and like, so I'm on the basement or like on a slat house. So basically I kind of living on the ground floor. It's cold. The furnace is on, but it's still cold. I would say it's probably 68, 70. And then to go into that room and then you're immediately cold, like it's pretty scary. I get it, you know. You go in there and you look at the thermostat and you're like, oh my goodness, it's cold in here. Yeah. They all look good though.
That's good, man. It's good.
That's the thing about Brettles and diamonds. I don't know, like Ish was saying earlier, they're just a different type of snake that can handle it.
Yeah. I was thinking of doing it for my inlands too, but last year I bred my inlands like carpets. I brought them down to 64, 65, and they went for me. So I'm like, you know what? If they go at 65, I don't see the need to bring them all the way down, and I can't do it in my room anyway. So maybe next year will be different because there's a chance I might be moving, which sucks. But there's a chance I might be moving. If I do, I'll have a much colder room. So might not need to use Shan's help on that one. Except for that, everybody, let's welcome Ish. I'm glad he's here. Ish, let's just start with just the basic banter. Anything new in your collection? Anything new and all that, and then we can go into talking about you.
Sure. My breedings are very small. Like, I only have two coastal pairs, a pair of reds. So both animals were actually produced by Eric Hernandez. This is Mr. March and Carmen San Diego. So that pairing is looking really promising. Carmen San Diego looks like she's pretty close to ovulating, if not ovulating already. So I'm probably gonna separate them once they're actually separated. I might separate them, feed them kind of just to push her into ovulation, just like repair them. I have a pair of tigers paired that are cuddling, but that male is very skittish, very shy. So now he's in shed, so we'll see what happens. I mean, I've seen a couple of locks, but I don't see at like it's not he. I can't look at that animal for too long because he'll just bolt. So um, something might happen, but we'll see. And then I have a pair of inlands that I got over the summer. They're actually in the cold room in here, so I'm treating them like my diamonds. So the female looks like she's building follicles. We'll see what happens. But right now, they're together. I haven't really seen much action, but I feel like people here in the eastern side of the states, they treat them more like spring breeders. So we'll see what happens.
Very nice, very nice. So your collection is mainly inlands and coastals. Is that kind of right, or is there anything else in there?
No, I only have one pair of inlands. The rest of the room is I have a few diamonds. They're in the cold room, which is where I'm in right now. The main room is mostly coastals. I have a single pair of jungles in there, but everything else is a coastal. So I no lies. I do have the Caribbean boas, so I do have 1.1 Puerto Rican boas and 1.1 Hispaniolan boas, or what people call Dominican Red Mountain boas. So, and then I have a lone female rhino rat snake from Owen. And actually, I should move her into this room because I feel like I might be keeping her a little too warm. Because that room isn't really the coldest that room it hit is like maybe 65, 66. But people who I know who actually have rhino rat snakes feel like that they'll do much better in the cold room. So I might just move her in here. So, but maybe after the spring.
Nice. So how about we just start from the start? I think you've been on a podcast. I think
Mhm.
you've been on NPR once or twice because I remember hearing you. Right? Am I correct when I say that? So
Yeah,
ha,
twice.
have you been on there
Twice.
recently?
Basically. I was on there, when was it? Probably
Okay, so
November.
not
So after, yeah, there's nothing, 'cause I think we were just talking about like getting things into the breeding
sorry.
season.
So would you mind?
So
I
that
know
was about it.
sometimes you do it, sometimes you don't. I don't think you've been on that many podcasts. So how about we start with it was just a basic introduction. So tell us how you got into the hobby. Why carpet pythons? Why you're not a king snake or a retic breeder, or what took you down that route, right? And then after that, maybe Shan can throw a couple of questions. We can see where we go from there.
Sure.
Sure. So I started. I actually always liked reptiles. Snakes were where my mom was like, "You're not getting snakes." So I'm like, "Okay, cool." So as an adult, I'm like, "Well, I'm old enough. I have my own place. I'll get a snake." Started with ball pythons. Quickly outgrew that. Realized I did not care for them. They're cool for what they are, but they're just not. They didn't do it for me. So kept the boas for a very short period of time, kind of moved those on. Very briefly got into, I had like three conjos at one point and quickly realized that was not for me. And then I ended up with carpets. So, um, you always hear you always read on the articles on how like they are a little temperamental. So I kind of went down that rabbit hole, learned about the subspecies, kind of narrowed it down. Started with a little bit of everything. The first carpets I had were actually Pop One or Irian Jai, whatever you want to call them, coastal crosses, so they're IJ Jags. So had her for a little while, moved her on as a pet. and just basically everything in that collection has since been like coastal carpets. Had gotten a couple of coastals from Nick, a couple from other people, and just kind of ended up stumbling onto Reds, and the rest is history. I got my first Red. He's a 2020, so it's like 6 years ago. So everything since then, it's like most of everything in that collection right now is some sort of red. Most of them are from Eric. There's like maybe two reds that I have that are not from Eric, but one's from Paul Mobile, so that's a M Pen line red. And then I have another one that I just got this spring. So everything is either Eric, Eric Burke, or M Pen Paul Mobile. So that's it. So lies. And then I have Tiger stuff from Balin, Tiger stuff from Owen, and one Tiger, a Xanthic Tiger from Riley Jimison. But everything is reds. Everything else is reds. Um, then basically just kind of not on that focus. I ended up with some Caribbean boas. I was gifted a Puerto Rican boa from Eric. I ended up with another female fairly recently. They're cool. I treat them like my carpet pythons. Same thing with the Dominicans, the Hispaniolas. So I don't know why they're still here though, because thought they would have gone already. I had them available for a while, so it is what it is. They'll stick around until someone buys them.
Nice. So just by curiosity, why pythons over boas? I often wonder that question.
Uh, hmm. So I always liked boas. I actually do have some. I do have a couple of sorts floating around here, but I like that python. So carpet pythons were just always active. They seem to be impressive but manageable, like a good medium-sized snake that displays well. And I mean, anything that's semi-arboreal or arboreal is always going to display nicely. So they're just a very, they've always been very manageable, very impressive, and it's just. I also like the color palettes. So especially when you get to the red stuff, like those grays, those khakis, those like bone white colors. So it's always been what's appealed to me. So, and they're not really as big as people think they get. It depends. Like if you feed anything a large rat for a period of time, it's going to get massive. But if you don't power feed a coastal, they're not going to be massive. And definitely, people compare them to the southern coastals or like the Brisbanes out in Australia, but those animals are very different. Even the Brisbanes we have stateside, they tend to not be as big, but I think this is a huge misconception about like how big coastals really get. So I'm gonna get a good amount of hate mail for that one, but it is what it is.
Agreed. I think when we hear coastal, a lot of people think, hey, it's a big snake. We have to feed it lots and we have to make it bigger. And that's a misconception that I think now it's starting to get corrected, maybe, what, like some people, but maybe not everybody. But I mean, you
I
can
feel
do it with any snake, really, right? Can't you? I mean,
Yeah.
you can feed that jungle and it'll be huge and it'll grow fat and probably keep growing. Like, I mean, we've proven, like Nick said before, that the snakes keep growing all the time, right? So, I mean,
Mhm.
Yeah.
But then they just won't stick around for that
Yeah.
long when they're that
Well,
big. So like,
if you
yeah,
you
you're
know
killing
anybody
yourself.
that's got like a coastal that's 20 years old, they're usually gigantic. Like if you think of all the people, like I'm gonna use Shan as an example. You have one female that is insanely massive. Like if you saw her head, if you didn't know what the pattern looked like, she almost looks like a small retic. His female is so big, and again, I look at all the snakes that I had 20 years ago. Holy shit, they were big. Like my coastals were 8 feet, 8.5 feet. I had some massive, but they're all gone now. They didn't survive. They all died eventually. Everything got huge. But one of Shan, what year is your girl? 2006. What?
2010.
2010. Okay, so it's still a 16-year-old snake, but that thing, her head, her head has got to be a like
Size of my fist.
it's insane.
Easy.
Like I'm telling you, she
She's
is
huge.
insanely big. Like when you take her out, it's she's
but
impressive.
she only eats 3 times a year. Like,
So,
I don't feed her a lot now.
but you don't feed her
Uh,
now, but 10,
That's
12,
different.
14 years ago was very different, right? And it's
Absolutely.
okay to admit, like I did all those
Yeah.
mistakes too, right? When there was a time where it wasn't about like slow down on your feeding. You want your animal to live long, you want it to be healthy, you want it to all that. We didn't do it that way. Right? Back then it was all about like feed the shit
It's
out of it, get it as
all
big.
about schedule, right?
Yeah.
It has
So
to be fed every 3 weeks, don't you know?
every
Right?
2 weeks even by
Oh,
then.
2 weeks, right? That's the number we used to have, right? You know?
I thought it was so cool when I fed my carpet
Uh,
pythons like medium rabbits. I was like, oh, it's so cool. I could eat that. And like,
right?
you got to learn from your mistake. I could see Ish just smacking his head. Like, yeah, okay. Keep in mind, like 20 years ago, it was done very differently than now. And now my biggest carpet python. I mean, okay, I have one that's not much bigger, but all the other ones are all. I don't even know if I have many that are over 6 feet. They're all 5 feet, 4 feet. My males are like little tiny twigs that barely ever eat, and they're all great breeders. So in time, things change. Like, yeah. Anyway, sorry, I just had to say it. Like, the coastals are definitely not. They're no bigger than jungles or really any other ones.
Yeah, I mean, they can some of them. I mean, if they get old, yeah, they're get a little large. But like, I think the largest in the collection. So Katara, she's actually Eric's girl who's on breed loan. She is a 2012 girl, and she's maybe 6 feet, maybe 6.5 if I underestimate. She's not a big animal, so she's probably weighing. That's weighing her. I would probably say she's about 2,500 grams. Not large at all. So, um, she's actually, and this is her like, she was actually given a, she's on vacation this winter. She was not bred, so, but she actually went 2 years in a row here. So, and she maternally incubated both clutches. So, those babies came out great, but they're not large animals. The other guys, I have one female who's she's like maybe. If you look at her, she's like maybe 3.5, 4 feet, and it's weird because she's like almost a 5-year-old animal, but she's just small. She's just, I think she was actually a twin, but they're not big animals. Like I don't have anything here that's like 8 feet or anything like that.
So let's go more specific. I asked you why boas or instead of python. How about? Oh
Oh,
no, well
I
you kind of answered that earlier. My question now is going more into the why coastals over jungles, over West Papuan, over inlands, over and mainly I asked this because
uh,
everybody loves the yellow. Like I've got a lot of jungles in here. I prefer coastals over jungles. I know my why, but I still have a lot of jungles because they're my cash cow. They're the ones that pay for everything else in the room. So, and I still love them, but there's no hiding it. Like they're the ones that make me the profit, so that I can pay for all my hobbies or buy more diamonds or do all the crazy shit I want to do. So, you seem to be very specific into coastal. So why those?
so I tried. So I had IJs. I had a couple of jungles. Actually have an adult pair that was sent out on breed loan. They're cool, but they're black and yellow. And like, how much more black, how much more yellow can you make it? And it seems like there's a lot of people working with them. And I try not to like. There's different things there. Like, I don't need to produce anything if there's a lot out there. So, um, naturally veered towards coastals, and then that's how I ended up with the red. So. I actually started out with one caramel, one red, one wild type, and just having those guys and seeing their color palettes, I'm like, okay, I actually like these guys. So, um, gradually kind of moved everything else out, moved the caramel out just because I have red, so you can't, not that you can't, but a lot of like I wouldn't mix red with caramel or red with hypo, so I just kept red. I wanted no caramels in the collection, so. Um, I don't know. I just like I've never had any issues with them. Like sometimes people talk about how nippy and how bitey carpet pythons are, and if something's going to be incredibly nippy, I found that it's usually the jungle, but they can all do it. But I always liked coastal. Just kind of seemed a little sturdier for what I liked. So I just naturally veered that way. And again, like I said before, like that color palette, just I like that color palette. Some of them fire up and down. So. Just seeing like some of them, if you actually go into the room at night, really late at night or really early in the morning, like some of the reds are actually kind of like a little purplish. So, It's something that's not really caught well on camera. I do say that the Reds particularly don't photograph well, but that's seeing that in person, just like understanding, like, okay, cool, cool. So everything else got out. Everything else got shoved out. The inlands is probably the late bloomer. Like basically, like once you actually see inlands in person, it's like, holy crap, like they're actually pretty cool because it's hard to actually capture their true colors. So, but otherwise, like the diamonds, like they're cool, but there's always like that thing, their little costs. You can't just get a bunch of diamonds at once. So, but I just like the color palette for the coastal, so I just stay that way. I kind of veered that course. Then the room being what it is, it's not a big room, so I'd rather just like focus on something and not have a bunch of everything, just so I can actually dedicate that space to projects that are near and dear versus running into the thing like with I don't want to say Noah's Ark because that's like basically different species, but like I don't need to have all these subspecies of carpet pythons. Like it's not like the Infinity Stones. Like I don't need to collect them all. So just focus on coastals and that's where I've been since then. They're just sturdier. I find like if you're gonna have a nippy one, it's gonna be small, but they generally tend to chill out. Of the collection, I only have one that I have to be very careful with. She's sketchy on a good day. She's predictably unpredictable. So that's probably the one outlier, but everyone else I can actually work with. So that's that's my story with coastals.
It's good enough.
Sorry, that's like a
No, no,
tangent.
it's all good. I definitely want to go into the diamonds at some point, but we're going to leave them on the side for now. Um, just by
Yeah.
curiosity, so you said you got inlands. What lines did you get? What do you work with?
I actually have a one Mog, one Schofield. Basically, these came from Gerard Bosch, Oceana Exotics. So he was moving them on, and I'm like, okay, you know what? Let's give it a shot. So, um, got those guys. They were quarantined. Then after their long ass quarantine, they ended up moving into the cold room. I keep hearing people like keeping them in the low 60s, and they probably would have been okay in the other room, but I felt like they would have done better in this room. They seem to be doing better in this room. I hear a lot of people talking about keeping them like a spring breeder. So I think Eric Burke has his inlands and diamonds in the same room, if I'm not mistaken. So I just put them in, so they're in here. But um, what else? That was just it. Like the jungles are cool. Like they didn't catch my eye as the other different ones did. The Variegata are cool, but that's an entirely different rabbit hole, and there's just not enough space for that. So just kind of, and there's enough people working with pop ones that I just kind of stayed in this corner. So without being repetitive with anyone. Well, without being too repetitive, because there's some people keeping reds, obviously.
Yeah, I think Eric Burke really made popularized the Poplins. Like ever since he's been talking about them for over a decade, right? And it's become so popular in the states anyway. Not here, but in the states, they've definitely he's hyped them up enough that there is a lot of people doing it. Just by curiosity, your Mog and your Schofield, is your Schofield mainly blue? Not a lot of red, copper on the side. Is your Mog
Well,
full of no?
no, he's mainly blue. And then I have to look because I think I always get them mixed up. So my Schofield is actually female Schofield and a male is blue. So one of them is blue, the female is darker. But in those guys, one of produced who was it? The female was produced by Nick Mutton, and the male was produced by Austin Warwick of Rage Beard Reptiles, I believe. So, um, but I have one of each basically. We'll see what
Nice.
happens.
Yeah, I've got one. My male is Schofield. My female is Mog, and we bought another female. Well, Shan got a pair too from
Yeah.
UK Python, which is a different lineage. They're 25% Schofield and 75% un.
Outcross.
Talk a little louder, Shan.
Outcross, right?
Yeah, well, it's outcross a different lineage, which is left to be undisclosed. We're just going to call it a different lineage than Schofield and Mog. So it's a third lineage. I'm calling it the UK line, just to make it different, or the European line, but it's they're not related to any of those. So it's kind of interesting. And last year, I bred. I was telling you that a bit earlier too. I bred my inlands, and I got eggs successfully. It was the first year she was ready, and went really well. And I bred them like carpets. I brought him down to the 64, and it was enough to get her to go. And again, this year, that same girl is full of eggs. So, and I can't get my room under 64. So I'm breeding him like, I guess, winter breeders, not like spring breeders. Now, as to whether, I think they work both ways. I've heard it so many times, and I often wonder if it's because if you look at the geolocation of where you can find inlands, they're really like, there's some that are pretty far up north and some that are pretty far south, right? So I don't know. I often wonder if depending on the locality or depending on how they are, they can kind of do both. So I might be wrong, but
I
it's
keep I keep them in my diamond with my diamonds and the Brettles in the coal room.
yeah. See,
So they do
same.
really well.
And
They
I
do well.
don't, but I can't. So I just can't get my room that cold. So to me, it's like not even an option, and it worked, right? So
So the ones we got from Paul are the ones we got from UK Python. Do you find they have a little bit of rust color on the side of them
they're
compared to the Mog?
insanely, yeah,
Like
they're
the Mog is like pure, like almost blue, black, silver kind of color, and no rust. But the Schofield or the outcross, different blood, if you want to call it, I find has that rust color on the side. It's beautiful. Such a beautiful.
so
I don't know.
mine. My Schofield is blue. There's zero red whatsoever. My Mog has a little bit of red and a lot of blue, and then the Outcross UK line is red, like brick red everywhere on the side. They're pretty nice. And the babies I got last year are 50% Schofield, 50% Mog. So I'm raising up. Well, I've got a couple for sale still. If you're Canadian and you'd like some inlands, feel free to reach out to me. There's three left. But anyway, I kept the pair, and I think you got a pair too, Shan? Yeah, I think so. No? Yes, maybe.
No, I only kept the female.
Oh,
Sorry, I was on mute. I'm still working on that other male that won't eat, so he's just a finicky eater. So
okay.
you
So,
always have a few back.
but I'm curious to see what would be an outcross, although I'm sure a lot of people have done Schofield to Mog before. So I've kind of got pretty much every line when it comes to inlands. Yeah. So Ish, let's talk a bit more about your coastal. So you've named me a couple of different mutations. So what are the main projects? Obviously the Reds. What are your main projects you're working in coastal? What are you trying to accomplish? Let's say in one or two generations. Where are you trying to take it?
So basically, with the reds, I'm trying to make them, trying to see, what I'm trying to do is, so basically, I have some that actually have the look that I like. So I have some striped reds that are non-Balin, because you have your Balin tigers, your Peters and stripes, you have your striped coastals, but these guys don't have that blood into them. So that striping is just what they have from that natural tendency that some coastals throw stripes, so it's very easy to kind of work that into a project. That's my main project. I do have a few tigers that honestly, once I get a clutch on the ground, I might just move that entire project on, just because of space for the Reds. So I do want to be able to hold stuff back, and I do want to be able to just hold on to things and see how they develop. Because sometimes, you don't want to move the wrong, you don't want to basically a hold back by mistake, and it's like, oh crap. So it's like trying to just hold stuff back. Um, and that's just and I just like to keep things like focused. So it's very easy to get distracted. So, but I just have like the rides are already variable as it is, so I just kind of have that variability, like those different flavors within that project with its when it's itself. So I feel like I don't need to have anything else. So that just makes me focus, and then I can kind of like narrow down what I want with that look. So. Um, that's just the way I did it, and that's why I got into that project. That's it basically. The coast I have the Puerto Rican boa is a small, like the male is old enough. He's like a 2018 model. The female is small, so I'm not expecting anything out of that anytime soon, if ever. And then I have the rhino rat snake. That's just I got her from Owen in a trade, and they're cool. I just Cluebirds are not quite my thing, so it took me a minute to kind of like get used to her and not like act because they're small, so like not lose her, which is like my biggest fear. But different ball game, but I can see why people like them, but I won't get a huge collection of those.
Fair enough, man. Colubrids are, I don't know. It's funny because my second snakes that I ever got were actually colubrid. I got pits. I had snow bull snakes. I got a carpet python. Actually, that's a lie. Okay, my first one were ball pythons, but do they even count as a snake? So I'm just disregarding them. So then I got a ball. Nobody got that. All right. I got carpet python. Then I got bull snakes, and I love them. And there's always been a part of me that wants to get back into them. But then I'm like, well, do I really want to give up a cage to put a bull snake in? If I'm that means I'm losing a cage for a Morelia or something else that I want. So I've never gotten into them, but I know for a long time, like Shan's breeding some insanely cool king snakes, and again, that's something that interests me. And I've noticed that in time, I pretty much had every single carpet python, and I guess the only one that I haven't really done is the Brettles, and it purely I moved them out because I had no room. I could only keep so much, right? Kind of like you, and I was like, can I really keep that many? And I moved them to Shan, then Shan bred them.
Do you want them back?
I got no room.
You're moving. You're moving. Don't worry, I'll keep them for you.
I got no room, man. I don't know where I'd put 'em. I don't want to. I don't want to be. I don't want a collection your size, man. That's just insane.
Come on.
Actually, by curiosity, Ish, how big is your collection? Are you 30 snakes, 20 snakes, 50 snakes?
No, it's actually with everything. Well, like everything, we're probably under 50. So that's in because I don't. What I don't want to do is I don't want to have a massive collection. Like for us, like for snake people, like oh my god, like that's a small collection. But anyone who's outside of that is gonna be like, holy crap, like why that many? Um, I just don't. I want to keep one project focused, so not many, and I don't want things to feel like it's a chore. The last thing I ever want to do is put myself in a situation. It's like, holy crap, like you're tired. People will sometimes bite off more than they can chew, and they'll have more animals they can actually care for. So I just never wanted, I never wanted to become a chore. So I like to keep the collection small. Um, but yeah, that's like basically under about 30-ish, everything altogether.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. I think I'm. If I don't count babies when they're born, I'm around the 50 marks, give or take five. So, which is a nice number. It's not too much. It's handleable. 2 hours, the entire room is clean, except when it's baby season. Holy crap, it's stressful. Sometimes it can be way too much, but except for that, it's pretty reasonable numbers. I think Shan, you're closer to 100, right? You got to be like at least twice my amount, aren't you?
I've I have about 60, 65.
No, you're more than that. There's no way.
I don't. Like
There's
total with babies, I have probably 100.
No.
But
So exclude anything less than a year old. I think you got to be more than that.
No, not
No?
really. I got rid of a lot of stuff there last year,
Yeah,
so yeah, it's pretty good.
I'll
Like
agree to
adult
disagree.
was. Sure, if you want. Well, you have two girls. I still have a lot. I still have quite a few projects from you, the coastal stuff. Keeping a few girls back. I sent two girls to you. I still have two girls here plus one male. So I am very heavy on that, but I'm just gonna see what we got to prove them out. See if there's the super. That's what I'm waiting for, and then after that we'll move stuff out, right?
Yeah. See where to go from here. So, Ish, you're from Jersey, right? Just to confirm.
Not from Jersey. I'm in Jersey, but I'm actually from Brooklyn. So
Okay.
I'm from New York. But I've been here. Like I moved out like
Uh,
several years ago. So, I've been here. So, but yeah, that's just like New York is just like it's New York isn't what it is. Like, it's like it's overhyped, it's crowded, it's expensive, so people just like kind of naturally moved out. So that's kind of how I went. But Brooklyn boy at heart.
All right, I was going more with just location for temperatures, but I like it anyway. It's
Oh,
I like it. It's like actually, I'm from New York. Like I'm the real thing. I love it.
oh, I was like, no,
Working.
no, for New York, so no, it gets cold up. Well, it gets cold up here. So I let my room get down to the main room gets down to about 65 at its coldest. Um, the cold room gets cold, so maybe it averages about like 41, 42. Um, and that's basically the way I'm able to do that. I actually have a window fan that actually blows that cold air right in here, so it keeps everything nice and cold. And then during the daytime, normal hotspots. So I think the diamonds get to about their thermostat set to about 85, whatever that is in Celsius. Um, but basically, I have like these flat, kind of like natural slate tiles under the hotspot, so they get radiant heat panels. I know people do bulbs, but could not go that route for multiple reasons because I have my cages stacked and I don't like that look of light bulbs in the cage. So that's just my thing. And I just went that way. So basically, they're set up down. They'll probably hit like 90. I clock them in at 90, 91 in the middle of the day, but otherwise they'll get pretty cold in the wintertime. So, um, coastals, same thing. I actually have them warming up to like about 85. They don't have natural slate under their hotspots, so they're probably hitting about like 86, 87. So, but basically what I do is I let the room get cold. I don't fight it. I don't fight the weather. It's easy to work with it. So things tend to cool down. We'll start having things like nice and cold around December. Um, this year's been particularly cold. Like it's February and it's really freaking cold. But nothing will get like somebody was actually asking about like when do I start feeding. I tend to not like feed anything until we'll say like end of February, early March, depending what the weather is and depending what the animals are doing. If I see that they're hunkering down, if they're kind of like in winter mode, I'll just leave them alone. If I see that they're coming out and they'll start actively like being in ambush position, I'm like, okay, you're ready to eat. So depends, but it's just easy to work with the weather that way. At least that's how I maintain my rooms.
Yeah, so you've got two rooms, right?
Two rooms. The main room is the coastal, and this room is like actually my home office. So I just have the inlands and the diamonds in
Okay.
there. So it's like 1.1 inlands and what's looking like three pure diamond, or three diamonds, and then one 75% girl, diamond girl from Tony Hurt. So she's 75% diamond, and then she's got like a splash of coastal and a splash of jungle in her, if I remember correctly.
Nice. Actually, if you talk about Tony, that would.
But this room is it's mainly my home. Yeah, it's mainly my home
Never thought
office.
of Tony, but Tony would be an interesting guest too, just because he does so many hybrids. I'd have so many questions about to ask. I'd make the show about convince me why I should get hybrids because I don't keep any.
I like
But
Tony.
he's got
His stuff is
it's
nice.
Tony, right?
Tony's
It's
awesome.
really nice, and Tony's a
Oh, he's
really
got
good guy.
gorgeous
He's
animals.
like
Gorgeous animals.
he's a gorgeous animals, and like Tony's just a really awesome guy. Like he's just very wholesome. Like I don't have enough nice things to say about Tony, so it's like, and his stuff is actually very pretty to look at. So it's like I can see why. Like, but there's a flavor for everyone. Like not everyone is into one thing. Like some people are into jungles, some people are into IJ, some people are into designs. There's a different thing for everyone. So, um, which I kind of like that about the
Yeah,
Morelia.
it's
So,
kind of like if he cut
people
it.
can be civil about it.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
kind of cut himself his own little segment of the pie, and that's he's known for that, and he produces insanely gorgeous animals with it. If Tony, if you're listening, reach out to us. You'd be a good guest. So, yeah, Shan, you're muted there, but no, there you go.
There we go. He's been around for a while, and I know he's big with what's his name, Bill Seagal, too, the mayor.
That's
Yeah.
big.
Bill Siegel, sorry.
He calls him the man. He calls him
Yeah,
the mayor. But yeah, he's like
just
so
from
he
all the
calls him Bill
podcasts,
Siegel.
right? So,
The mayor of
yeah,
Condo
no,
Town.
yeah. I've heard a podcast with Tony and with Bill talking about each other, and they've been around in the hobby for a long, long time. So, no. For me, getting back to your red coastals, just to let you know, we don't have any of that stuff up here in Canada. It's not a thing. It's pretty much,
Oh,
we don't have that.
yeah.
I mean, do we, Dom? I haven't seen any of that stuff up here
No,
ever.
there's nothing. So the same way that you can somewhat send stuff to Europe with difficulty now, you can get stuff from Europe. We can get stuff from Europe too, but we can't do the Canada US is half. I'd say 99% of the time blocked. I know of a recent shipment that went through. Um, but except for that, it's been in the past like 7 or 8 years. I don't think there's been any a successful one except for the last one that went through for Don. He got one through, so it's just a pain. Just like Eric last podcast actually said, he's gonna work on trying to get some here. So we'll see. I actually have to contact him and tell him like set it up. I'm in. I'll take him just to give it a shot, but. It's a pretty cool project. I'm not going to go too much into reds because the last show was a lot on reds. So and I know that's something you do as well. Um, about let's see. So what I'm actually curious is so how do you breed your coastals? Um, do you have your own way? Do you do temperatures? Like kind of take us off, or if you're go into as many details or as little detail as you want. I'm just kind of curious to see if it matches what we do because we're not that far apart, right? I think you're probably about a 6 hour drive from me, so just a little bit further south, which is just you've got probably 10 degrees higher than us, but that's about it. So just curious how somebody else does it in the East Coast.
Sure. So I got everything from NPR. So huge shout out to Morelia Python on radio. Um, so basically, what I'll do is I follow the holidays. So everyone gets I don't everyone gets cut off food around Halloween. So basically, and that's depending on the weather. If the weather is not cooperative, because sometimes you'll have a few weeks of extra like warm weather, so it's easy to work with the weather versus against it. I'll probably stop feeding around the latest is mid-November. So last meals are done. Kind of let them kind of chill out, and then I don't really start cooling until around Thanksgiving, maybe after Thanksgiving. So keep everything cool, and then I basically I started pairing animals like late December, early January, just because I watch the males and just once I see the males are cruising, I'm like, okay, obviously someone in the room is cycling, but I already have my pairs like set, so I'll put the pairs that I actually had planned together, and I'll basically leave them. I don't necessarily need to say anything, but if they're like not latching onto each other, which is not really a thing with these guys, well, usually there's always the one outlier. I'll kind of let them chill out and they'll overwinter together. Um, I'll leave them together for as long as they need to be. Like I've had animals go in February. I've had some animals go later, like end of March type of thing. So I'll keep them together until I see that there's no interest. Um, when I say no interest, like the male is on the opposite side of the cage and the female is on it's usually the female's on the warm side. So I'm like, all right. Once I see that, I'm like, they're pretty much done. Let the female do her thing. She'll shed out and then count down for eggs, which the females here will go. I think the last one was like she was like 39, 38, 39 days post ovulation, pre-lay shed. And then but I do prefer that I do prefer maternal incubation over putting them in an incubator. Um, as long as mom is doing her thing and she's actually showing interest in the eggs, she's actually taking care of the eggs, I'll leave her with the eggs. I've had more success with animals being maternally incubated, like getting them to go. I've had no issues getting them to go, whereas the stuff that I've actually established, whereas the stuff I've actually hatched out artificially, they hatch out smaller. Some of them have given me a run for my money in terms of getting them established, and one case of jungles, like I wanted to rip my hair out because they were just small, fussy. I'm like, all right, fine. So I just prefer that they're maternally incubated. The babies are more robust and they start easy. They tend to establish way easier. At least that's been my experience. So, um, that's that. Before everything comes out, before anything hatches, like once I see those picked, I'll just remove the eggs, and that's that.
How many times have you
And I just
done?
like separate it.
How many times have you done maternal incubation?
So most of these clutches. So Katara, who is Eric's MBB red, is on breed loan. Um, she went last year. So she went for me in 2024, and again last year. MI both times. Fuego maternally incubated once. Um, and then I had another female who the jungle back in 2024. She incubated, but she kind of left the eggs at 3 weeks before they were due, so that was weird. And those jungles hatched out really small, so I don't know if she picked up on something and she's decided to abandon the eggs, but I have no idea why. Then I have one female that just like kept leaving eggs, so that clutch got cooked in the incubator, but she's getting another shot this year, and maybe she'll be a better mom this year. But I do prefer just to keep them under. I prefer that they do the work for me.
It's funny because
That's what they were built for.
you just named all the reasons I won't do maternal. You know, like when I put my eggs in the incubator, my incubator doesn't run away. My incubator doesn't walk away to go warm up or drink water or go take a piss. My incubator doesn't piss on my eggs. Like the amount of things that my incubator doesn't do is amazing. Like he's dependable. He's always there. But if I lose power, that incubator's that incubator gets cold. My female can keep warming up, so I can see the advantages, but the disadvantages of maternal incubation, I don't know. And like when you talk about size of the babies and who's eating well, who's eating not, and I like Shan and I have bred a good amount of carpets too. We've had I don't know 9 to 15 clutches each every year for many years. So we've had a good amount, and I can tell you like depending on who you have, some eat well, some don't eat well. My Popwins always all eat well. Popwins are amazing. Inlands were complete garbage, wouldn't eat at all. Coastals are generally good feeders. Albinos are all the worst feeders ever. They're really hard to get started. Like you name all these different things. Some are good, some are bad. Jungles overall, I'd say all jungle. I've never had issues with like you'll have 1 out of 20 that's a trouble feeder, but everything else is perfect. So and the size wise, I don't even know if I like. I don't know if you remember. You've probably listened to a few podcasts, but what is it? Fuck, I forgot his name. Help me out there. Morelia Python, the funny Asian guy there. What's his name? God damn it. He's good. He's not gonna be happy with me when he realizes I forgot his name. Nobody.
28.
Bob Vu?
No. One of the hosts of Carpets and Coffee. Come on, Lucas Lee. There you
Oh,
go.
Lucas Lee.
Jesus Christ.
Oh,
Okay.
Dude.
What did I do?
oh
So
God.
he's talked.
Sorry, Lucas.
Sorry, Lucas.
Yeah,
I love
right.
you, Lucas. You're the best. So Lucas talked. He talked
So
about,
sorry, Lucas.
but he talked about the size of the babies, right? And he talked about trying to do all that, and he kind of somewhat disproved it. And I don't really know if it is a true thing that babies hatch out bigger because they're maternally incubated. I don't know, man. I
I don't know. It's just
anecdotal.
that was just my experience. Like
I worry about my female. That's what I worry about. Like, my female hasn't had any food since October 31st. And we're going to go through a lot of cold. And then we're going to bring her up in temperature. And we're going to... she's going to have eggs. Probably might not eat. Might eat. Never know. Some of my females don't eat through the whole process. Have the eggs. And then you're going to get her to sit on the eggs for another 60 days. Oof. That makes me worry a bit. Right? I mean, unless the female is in really great shape, and then, I mean, you give her a year off. I feel like we got enough as soon as the
I
eggs.
feed my females.
You feed your
So I've
females?
fed my females while they're on eggs. I fed my females while they're on eggs. They're
Okay.
fine. So I've only had so this is basically my third season, but the females that I've had on eggs, like they've not given me any issues. Like they'll eat with the eggs, they'll wrap, but I've only had to feed them like maybe once or twice, and it's nothing massive. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. That's just it's so cool. So
Oh,
when you feed them, are you actually is she leaving the eggs? Is she partially coiled, eating on the side, then comes
Uh,
back?
that's what I was gonna ask
Yeah,
too.
I'm curious. Like, because to me, it just like
so
it doesn't compute, man. Sorry, keep go
I
for it.
get it.
It's so
I get
unnatural.
it. I get it. So
It's so
I get
unnatural.
it.
Use a big
I
fridge,
get it.
man. That's so much more natural. Put your eggs in a fridge. Like, what you're doing is so unnatural. Like, listen to
I'm
us. Like,
sorry. I'm sorry.
putting python eggs in an incubator that's a fridge with a window and a thermostat is so much more natural than letting mom do it naturally. Obviously, I'm being sarcastic here.
I don't know. No, I know. I get it. It's like it's one of those things. Like everyone should at least try it once. It's how I did it. It's how I wanted to do it. And again, like if a female, if she's a well-fed female, like not fat, I mean, like she's well-toned, she's gonna be fine. Like she's gonna look like crap when she's off those eggs finally, but one or two meals in, and she'll fill right out. So I get that people kind of freak out with, I get that people freak out with this, but this is also what they've been doing for millennia. So it's like, yeah, sure, you're gonna have some females that are not great moms. Like I've seen that, but you watch them. Like I watch my females when they're on the eggs, but if they're doing everything correctly and she's got them wrapped up and she's taking good care of them, I see no reason to actually remove the eggs. So um, it's kind of it gives them a chance to um, like basically act out these behaviors that they normally would not be able to get to, act out because they're in captivity. So it's just like, all right, they're designed to do this, let them do it. So I've had no issues with that. But it's just I don't know. It's just I like to see those behaviors. It's pretty cool. I mean, getting mom off the eggs as they're pipping is another story, but it's still pretty cool to actually see though. Because if you're not careful with mom, after the eggs are pipping, like you're gonna get nailed. But you have to work around that. But you'll be fine.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not against maternal incubation. I think maternal incubation is crazy cool. Like I think it's amazing. Um, I just coming from my side. So my side of the story is every time I put my eggs in that incubator, I get on average 95% hatch rate. Right. So why fuck with something that's working so well? So I don't think a female is going to get. Females are going to get on average. I bet you if I ask you your hatch rate out of all your clutches, you're probably in the 90s, maybe or lower or more, but nobody gets 100%. So to me, the incubator is working about as good as it can, right? So I've dialed it down to a point where it works. So why do something? And every year I keep telling myself, when I get a clutch that I don't care about, I'm going to let her do it. I'm going to let her do it. And somehow there's never a clutch I don't care about. Like every clutch, I'm like, I actually want him to hatch, so there's no way I'm leaving it up to mom. What if mom doesn't do a good job? What if mom leaves? What if mom does this, does that, does this? So I don't know. And it's I should try it. I want to try it. I'm too much of a chicken shit, man. I don't know what
Yeah,
to say.
I get it. My thing is like, okay, well, I try since that worked for me the first time. It's like, okay, I'm going to keep doing this, and that's how I got into it. So it's what's worked, so it's what I'll continue to do. So I'll put things in the incubator if I have to, but I'd rather not.
So
It stressed me out. For me, it would stress me out, right? I'd be like checking on the snake all the time, making sure mom's doing her job all the time. It just lengthens the more stress that we have looking for the eggs, making sure the female is ovulated and what she's doing. Because I know we're all looking at our rooms like constantly, a few times a day.
so when it comes to
Yeah.
oh sorry, Ish. I was just gonna ask you
No, no, go
can
ahead.
I was just gonna ask when it comes to maternal incubation, how do you set up the cages for it? Like, what do you do to make sure that female has everything to do it on their own?
Okay, so basically, females in a 4-foot cage. I do actually have. radiant heat panels, so I get them from Pro Products. All the cages have that. I'll use a 16 quart shoebox, or I guess they call it the boot box, like the Sterlites. And that's basically the bottom layer has cocoa husk, and then the rest of the nest box has sphagnum moss. So what I'll do is the females always have that year round. Everyone has it basically. It's either a nest box or they treat it as a humid hide. So they end up as the box is in there, I tend not to touch it with my bare hands. That's just how I do it. I'll wear gloves. And I tend to not really mess with the animals when they're in there. So it's basically meant to be like their safe spot. So now that's what I'll give them. I've had no issues up to date, knock on wood. I've not had a female actually miss the egg box, like lay them inappropriately, like lay them in a bad spot. So that's just how I do it. And I got that. Again, I got that information from NPR and just like going down that rabbit hole years ago. So, um, but that's basically it. And then the cages are probably about I want to say they're about like six. They're not as high as I would like them. They're like 16 inches, but I maximize that space. So there's like perches in the middle. So if they want to regulate, if they want to be on the ground, they can be on the ground. If they want to be off the ground, they can. Um, and what I'm doing right now is like some of them are actually getting like these ceramic tiles that's like under the hot spot. So if they need to heat up a little bit more, particularly a gravid female, she can do that. But that's basically what I do. I don't do anything special with mom and the eggs. So as long as mom has everything she needs, she'll take care of, she'll do the rest for me, which is basically how I done. That's what's worked for me. So fresh water, so she can drink. They can drink always. Um, um, but that's just basically it. Nothing too fancy.
So can you go back into the ceramic tiles? I'm actually quite curious for your heating. So do you have radiant heat panels, or do you have heat pads, and then you have a tile on top, or a tile under the radiant heat panel?
No, so what I'm doing is I basically have the tile underneath the heat panel. So I have the heat panel set up and then like in the middle of the hot spot. So it's like maybe a 12-inch, it's like a ceramic, it's a ceramic tile, or sometimes like if you get yourself like a ceramic placemat, like we have Walmart would actually have them. So that just goes under the perch and they can sit on that. And that would basically like boost up their temperature. I kept that in the cold room and it seems to work there. So since I'm actually cooling my room to the mid 60s, the main room, so I would actually like to give them that option to kind of like warm up even more if they need to, without actually having to crank up that thermostat. So because that's not good either.
I've always wondered about that because the tile, like, so my thinking is though that a tile absorbs heat, stays warm for much longer. The heat goes off, it'll stay warm for another hour or an hour and a half or such. But wouldn't it be the same for the opposite? Like once the heat goes away, then it'll cool off, then it gets cold. Then wouldn't it take another hour to warm up once the heat is back on? So, or does it heat up much faster? Like once your radiant heat panel, how long does it take for that tile to actually be warm?
That's a good question. So they'll basically sit underneath the radiant heat panel just before it ramps up. So that's just like it's funny how they know that rhythm. So but it probably with the heat with the ceramic tile, it probably heats up like within the hour. Like it's very quick. At least what I've noticed. Like I have the radiant heat panel. It's like maybe 8 inches or so, like maybe 7, 8 inches, seven at the max. But so it's not like super high, but it basically it warms up the tile, and the radiant heat panel doesn't have to keep running because that's to have the heat radiant heat panel running constantly. Number one, it's expensive. Number two, you got to heat up the cage way more than you need to, versus if the tile's there, basically it makes things a little bit more efficient. So I can set that thermostat to like maybe 85, and the middle of the tile can hit maybe 90. I've with the female with the diamonds, I've actually clocked them at like 91, but that's just them under the tile. But Yeah, it raises it up a few. It raises the temperature a few degrees, but it's just very. I guess it's a very economical way of doing it versus like just having to crank up your thermostat or just have like. At least I know that the animals are actually getting the temperature like what they need. So there's other ways of doing it, I know, but it's just like seeing it work well with the diamonds and just kind of incorporating that with the coastals little by little.
It's cool, right? It's a neat idea. It's actually something that I don't use, but I'm starting to have a couple of radiant heat panels now, and I'm actually thinking about it. And so the next question is, are you putting actual ceramic tiles, or are you putting slate tiles? Because I know you can buy slate tiles, and I've heard a lot about slate being more natural and it absorbs better. But I wonder honestly if it's you could literally go to Home Depot and buy any tile, put a 12 by 12 inch right under the heat panel. Is that good enough?
I don't know.
Yeah.
So I should actually, not ceramic tile. I stand corrected. It's actually slate tile that I've been using, not ceramic tile. Um, but just slate tile. So basically, like your natural gray slate tile that you'd see. I think home. No, not home. Some like sometimes you just get them at 12 by 12, but the ones that I get are basically like placemats that you would get on like Amazon. So they're like maybe 5 inch by 12 inch. Like they're not large at all. And it's basically just meant to like um increase that temperature along that area if they need to. So like if an animal is like digesting a meal, like that might actually be a little bit more beneficial. Um, but also it just like I just like the way it works. I can set the thermostat a little lower. The room doesn't get as hot, so it's just something I've been digging. And I think I got that idea from who is it? I think Tony and Jeff Croce. They both use like the flagstones, so that's kind of like how I got the idea.
So I use something similar, but it's not flagstone. So Dom, we have the Home Depot cement tubs we use. Basically, cut holes in that, and I put that underneath the radiant heat panel, and they basically it, it's kind of like a step, and basically when the heat panel goes down, so the the cement tub is basically black too, so it's taking in the heat, so they just basically bask on the top, and then a little later on you'll see them go because I have holes, like it's plastic, right? So you can put little holes into the tubs, and then basically they can sneak underneath and go hide underneath. And basically, what I think the radiant heat panel goes down and it creates a hot pocket on the inside of that tub because I put it upside down, right? It's basically like a hide for the snakes. So first thing in the morning, like Ish says, they kind of go right up to the top and sit right underneath the radiant heat panel. And then when it gets a little too hot, then they kind of go underneath. And I guess from all the heat collected, there's probably a heat pocket in that tub underneath. That's
So yeah, I agree on that aspect, but I think the difference is that the tub is plastic, so the radiant heat panel hits it, it warms up the plastic, but that once that heat panel turns off, that heat on the plastic is gone in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, right? It doesn't hold it. So I think
agreed.
the idea would be to grab a slate tile, put it
Mm-hmm.
on top of that plastic tub, so that that would absorb it, and then once the heat goes off, that tile would stay warm for a good hour plus, right? That's your idea ish. Yeah. So
Correct.
Yeah,
I
it's a
just
great
So it's
idea.
just a different way.
yeah, it's just a different way of doing it. It's something like I love talking to other people just to see all the different things that people do, right? We all have our little things like, and we all do it slightly different. Just like, you know what, this is actually a good question. So, Ish, if you were to look at, you follow a lot of the MPR carpet python breeding, right? And I'm 100% on the same page. I've been listening to them for 13 plus years, whatever season they're at, and I've done it all, and I've done one of the breeding shows with them, right? So I've done it, and I really do it to the letter, and it works, right? But what do you do differently? So in your collection, Where do you say, you know what, I know everybody does that, I do this differently because it works for me? Is there anything that you've figured out that you need to do differently or that you've adapted?
Not really. The only thing that was done maybe slightly different, and it wasn't even all that different. It's just like when females were actually going. Like some people's animals go earlier in the year, and sometimes some animals go later. I've had females like I've kept animals paired until like late March. So, but nothing really different. Like I don't do anything. Maybe, and I don't think it's just me particularly. I think people just realize that you can actually keep your animals a little cooler. So, um, so maybe I might just cool my animals a little cooler. So like maybe low to mid 60s, but that's about it. But there's other people that are doing that. Like that's not that different, at least not in my opinion.
And right now, just by curiosity, so your winter breeders, are you in the ramping up stage? What temperature is your room at night now?
No, I'm not even. I'm nowhere near ramping up. I'm actually still in the cold.
Oh, really?
Because it's been cold here. We've had a couple. Yeah, I'm not ramping anything up. I probably won't ramp anything up until around February, and that's depending on the weather. If it's still cold outside and my room is still on the cooler side, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna wake them up. I'm just gonna let the weather dictate that. So, um, but yeah, it's still pretty cold here.
Alright, I was just curious because for my winter breeders, I brought them all the way down to 64, left them there for 2 weeks, and now I'm in the ramping up. It's still freaking cold here, but usually on average, I'd say by like the 1st of March, it starts to be warm again. Like we start to be in the positive, which would be over 30 degrees for you weird Americans in your Fahrenheit. So yeah, like I'm almost fully back to their normal temperature. I'm about what is it at night now? It's maybe 74, I think, give or take. So, and I'll bring them up to like 77 to 78 during the day. So I'm in the going back up and now the pairing, and I'd say in about 2 weeks I'll start offering food. So in 2 weeks I'll be the like I'll try to offer one like a tiny meal to a couple of them just to see. Nothing's interested in my room except one female. I've got one inland that all she wants is food. She's always striking at the, and she's not aggressive. You take her out, she's perfectly puppy tame, but she has been crazy hungry during the entire time. So, yeah,
I
it's
wonder if
interesting
you're
to see.
getting cold enough.
Y- y- Fuck, am I back on? There you go. I was having trouble with my back
No.
there. Yeah, you might be right. And you know what? The funny thing is, the two females are in the same cage, and I've got one male with her. One female's full of eggs, and that's the one that bred last year. The other female showed zero interest in breeding, never went near the male, and has been wanting to eat the entire time, even at 64. So it's making me wonder if that female should have been brought down like a diamond, and the other one, no.
Maybe.
Right? I don't
I
know.
think so.
Yeah,
Like,
'cause an animal like if they shouldn't be like my thing is like I don't want to see them striking at the glass in the wintertime. If they're striking at the glass in the wintertime, then it means they're getting too warm. Um, and I'll see that along like March, like late February, early March, depending on what the weather is. Like once I see that the animals are actually like acting hungry, then I'll actually feed them. But I don't do anything. It's just the hot spots. They get those hot spots 12 hours all throughout the year. The only thing that really changes is like the light cycle in the room because everything's set to sunrise, sunset, so that follows that. So it gets longer in the springtime, but nothing. My thing is like I don't like seeing my animals like striking the glass. And when I'm cooling them. Now if things are continuously striking the glass. Like if I see that there's a pattern, I'm like okay, it's time to eat. But I usually see them like in the springtime. I tend to not really see that like as they're waking up. Like they're just more like in ambush position. But that's just my observation in my collection, which is probably like my room is not going to be the same room as your room probably. So it's just what I've observed in my room.
yeah, I get it, and I'm like I've over I don't even know how many adults. I have a lot of adults, and there's only one animal that is hungry during the entire cooling breeding, and it's been her. And it's the first year ever I have an animal trying to eat, no matter how cold it is. Find it weird, and she's only what the heck year? She's the same as the one we got from UK there. So I don't know what year they are, but she's 3.5, I think. So she's not quite ready, but
2021's.
2021. Oh fuck. Okay,
Yeah.
so she's definitely ready. Okay, so she's 4.5 or 3.5, 4. I don't know, whatever. 2021, so 4.5 years old. So she would be ready. But that's a line of inland that I've never bred before, and I wonder if they require the colder weather because she's the one who freaking bit me on the thumb like that I was talking about 2 weeks ago. And I wasn't like I was just cleaning the cage and she fucking struck out like 3 full feet and got me, which I wasn't even thinking about it because I was just like, you don't even think of getting bitten when it's cooling time because everything's dormant. Like they're not moving a lot. It's cold, not showing interest. This goddamn thing, and it took me freaking like 2 weeks to get all the teeth out of my finger. Anyway, so yeah, I'm thinking I'm gonna have to. I might have to cool her down like a diamond. Which, talking about
I can
diamonds.
handle it.
Yeah, I know they can. You guys want to go down the diamond route, Shan? You up to it, ish?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so
Diamonds.
Ish, tell us, what do you have? So how many diamonds do you have? And let's talk about your lines. I'm curious to see what you're working with.
So basically, there's three diamonds. When I say diamonds, like I'm not gonna call them pure diamonds because one of them is a pure diamond. This is from David Kelly. This one is San Diego Zoo. I think I have to look at the card, but I think it's like got a little bit of a Gary Valle blood in it. Poss Let me not even lie. Let me just look at that really quickly.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, I was going to talk while you were gone, but if you can keep
Yeah.
talking, go for it.
San Diego, yeah, Gary Valle. Yeah. No, no, I was just like making sure because I want to make sure I got my line straight. So that one is pure. The other two, the reason why I don't say pure is because they have Cypress Creek blood in them. Cypress Creek is that line that some people kind of like shy away from in the States. But apparently when they looked at it and when they analyzed it, it was what they were supposed to be. But whatever, some people don't like Cypress Creek. But that's what I have. And then
I
I
was going
have
to
a
say that I was going to
75%
say that it
diamond as
was
well.
analyzed. Sorry, man. I
Okay.
didn't mean to speak over
Yeah,
you.
so it's like,
Did we lose him? All right. Well, he'll log back on. What I was actually going to say is that I remember a podcast where Nick ended up testing genetically of all the different lines, and Cypress Creek ended up coming out as pure. And I thought that ship had sailed, like it was dispelled. Cypress Creek is now considered one of the what we would call North American pure lines. So I
Nice.
would I would have zero problem with him calling it as a pure, um, but that's me. Then
I didn't
again,
even know. I didn't even know all that. So
about
there
Cypress,
we go.
yeah,
Yeah, I
no.
didn't know
So
about Cyprus.
it's a
okay.
line that we don't
Sorry, I
have
don't know what
here, but it's
happened.
a line I've heard a lot about, and just so Ish can hear it, like to me, I would consider Cypress pure after the studies that have been done and the genetic testing that I think it's Nick, unless I'm wrong. Was it somebody else? I'm pretty sure it's him that had tested all the many of the lines, and it proved to be as pure as
I think it
any
was,
of the other ones. So I think you're in the clear,
yeah,
but
so,
that's me. I'm not a crazy diamond guy like some of the other people are, but I give you the green card to go for it and call it pure.
I mean, they
Means
are what they
nothing, but
are. I'm just being transparent with them. It's like, but that's just what I have. So,
so you've got one or two Cypress Creek, and then you've got your Tony Hurt mix,
uh,
right?
yes. So it's two of them that got Cypress Creek blood in them, and then the other one is the one from Dave Kelly. That one's the one without any of that. That one would be if people were to still consider Cypress Creek not pure, whatever. That's the one that's like actually pure. The one from Dave Kelly. So, um, but that's what I have right now, and basically those guys right now they're getting cold. Like PVC cages they're great for what they are, but it does take me a little bit longer to cool them. So they're probably being cooled for closer to the 12-hour mark. and that's like with the window fan. But the fronts of the cages are glass sliding doors, so it's a little easier to cool. But that's what I have. And the inlands are in the same room, and they get very cold, so I'm just treating them the same way.
And how old is your group? And is it what 1.3, 2.2? What are we looking at?
No, so it was supposed to. So originally, I thought I had 2.1, but right now it's looking like 3.0. One of them, yeah. So it's that was that. It just the
Oh,
animal
that's
shed, and there
rough.
was like a bug. I'm like, all right, yeah, it is what it is. It doesn't. It's weird. This is the first time this has actually happened. Um, but I think it was. This is also the first year that I was able to get this room very cold. So this animal is several years old at this point and just dropped its first plug. I'm like, huh, okay. So um, last year I was not really able to get the room as cold I would have liked to. Um, there was some nights that I had the room hovering in the 60s, which I find is a little too warm for them. But this year, since things are getting way cooler with the window fan, that was a bit of a surprise. But it is what it is. It's still three
Oh, it's
diamonds.
amazing. I think diamonds have turned out to be one of my favorite snakes now out of all the Morelia complex. And I only own a pair. I think Shan has a pair or a trio. I think Shan has a pair, right?
I have a pair.
Because
I have a pair.
so
Um, the one thing I gotta say though is I got the baby from Star Python, so from Philip. They were both great, but the baby, it was so new that they call it the ugly duckling for nothing, not for nothing, right? Like I found it was like very like dark, barely had any pigment on it or anything like, and two sheds later, this thing is like glowing. It's incredible, right? I don't know. It's something about diamonds that really puts them aside from other snakes, right?
They're cool and they're very different. So I find they behave very different compared to the coastals. So we'll see. But they're just a cool species to have. So there was a lot of like back and forth. Like people were like a little nervous. I know people were nervous about keeping them in the past, that whole diamond python syndrome thing, whatever you want to call that. But I think that's not really a real syndrome. I think people were just keeping them too warm. But we seem to like have figured out that they just need to be kept cooler. So they seem there's more and more becoming available, and it seems that more and more people are able to work with that. They're just cool, very different. Them and the
yeah,
inlands.
I love when we have all these problems that slowly in time we figure out how to fix it, and the diamond python syndrome is the best example of that. I mean, everybody kept them too warm. Everything died at 6 to 8 years old. They would maybe breed once or twice and then die, and that's something that was so easy to fix. And you don't hear of that anymore, right? You don't hear of people losing their geez, adults prematurely for no reason. It's kind of nice that we figured that that one little notch in the puzzle that fixed it. So it's kind of cool. So you have three males. Obviously, I'm gonna assume there's females in your future. Are you gonna part with one of the males and try to increase your females? What's your plan going down for diamonds?
Um, I'll get females when they're available, but until then, I'm just gonna cycle them. Like I might actually keep the three males just because people get a little iffy with like moving like adult carpet pythons, like adult or diamonds, whatever. But I might just end up keeping him. Also. He's a little on the large side, so I probably like I feel a little weird about like moving an animal like that. So if I'm gonna number one, I don't really like moving animals unless I actually have to, but like adults, like with males, like I don't want to move an adult male like that. I just feel it feels weird. I feel like they are just too large, so it's just like no. So I'll just hold on to him. But until then, I'll just whatever. He'll stick around. I'll get females as they become available, but we'll see like when I have a few I'm looking at a few things, but we'll wait until like things are available.
So I think to the people that have been listening to me for a little while. They know that I'm much more a purist at heart now, but I'm going to ask a really, really dirty question. Are you ever going to put that diamond to, let's say, the 75% or maybe to your jungles or anything like that while you have no females? And I got to ask, it's not what I would do, but I
Uh,
want to know because
no, no, no. Well, that's 25% there. She's way too young anyway. But like she's there, like if I like I she came to me from Tony, so she's there's a little bit of like sentimental value there because Tony's a good guy. But I don't really have like I don't know what the heck I'm gonna do with her. Since she's already a 75% diamond and she's not pure, I might actually throw her to a red coastal at some point. Maybe we'll see. I don't know. So she's already mixed. The damage is already done, and if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen.
you don't need to
That
defend
way.
yourself, man.
I'm not gonna
I
put
get
it
it.
here. Yeah. So it's like, but also it's like that's I don't know. Just to see, like she's already mixed, so whatever. Like the damage is already done. Like not that there is any damage to it, but any purist is gonna argue, like, why are you doing that? Like, she's already mixed, so whatever. But that's how I ended up with my like red jungles. Like the female was mostly jungle, but she still had a splash of coastal in her. So I'm like, all right, well, you already have some coastal in you. She had a male put in with her, and that's how we find out that reds can be supers because all those babies came out to be they were red jungles. Like you see yellow, but you also see like that red color that comes in. So, but I wouldn't take like a pure jungle and throwing it with a coastal or pure diamond. Like some people would do it. I don't feel like I wouldn't do it. So, but if one of them's already mixed, I'm like, all
So
right,
here's
whatever.
my opinion on this. I think if you put your diamond with your jungle, I actually have zero problems with that. And my reasoning behind that is that you are producing distinguishable offsprings. And it is easy to know they're 50-50. My issue would be is if you put the 70, because if you put your
Okay.
75% diamond with some splash of jungle in it, right? And you breed that to a diamond and you produce 88.8% or whatever that number is, 88 point something percent diamonds, at that point, can you tell the difference? See, that's
No,
even a
I get it. I get
75%
it.
will look a lot like a diamond, right? So I don't like I won't do it, but I have no problems with people doing it. But as soon as you like produce that with a jag, like it's obvious, we all know what it is, right? The non-jags is
Yeah.
harder. So you breeding a 75% diamond jungle to your red coastals, I'm really not worried because to me, it's not going to look like any of them, and it's going to be very easy to tell that it's not. So I don't know. I get doing hybrids, and
I
if you're a
get it.
hybrid guy,
No, no, I
if you're a
get it.
hybrid guy, go strong, go for it. Just don't produce something that looks like the real thing, or else you're just screwing everything up.
No, no, I get it. No, no, that's why it's like, no, I totally get that. There's ways, I mean, I think like some people like actually scale clip, like it would be cool to have some way of like doing it like permanent ID. But I get it, but it's I mean I'm being transparent about it, but I get where it's all coming from though. Like no one I that whole word I totally get it.
I, f-
I wouldn't do that, but
I feel Tony's stuff like there's been a few times where it's easy to mistaken some of his, let's say, non-pure diamonds for real diamonds. They're pretty close. There's been a few times I question him, is that pure? He's like, no, that's not pure, and it looks pretty similar. Like there's a little bit of a difference, but it's still hard to tell. They're
yeah.
amazing looking. I like them. Would I don't know. I'm starting to
People just have to be transparent. I get it, but I feel like as if people are gonna do it, like they're just transparent about it. That's
absolutely.
fine. But I don't think I don't think I know of anyone who's like passing anything that it's not, So um, I get where people are coming from
Yeah,
though.
and there's a couple of those people that are really strong into that are really really well known. Like if you were to take Don Patterson, he's famous for his crazy Bredli diamond jungle Bredli reduced pattern stonewash crosses, right?
Stonewash.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
stonewash.
all this stuff, and it's amazing. You take Tony Hurt; he's really known well for the jungle diamond crosses, right? And he produces amazing animals. You take Bill Stiegel, the designer condors; they breed completely hybridized animals and are really known for it. So it's not that there's no, there is that niche and there is that place for it. I just think that if you do it for a reason, right? Like have a goal and go crazy and go for it, right? So, and nothing
I
wrong with
get
it.
it.
For sure.
Just not for me, but nothing wrong with it. As long as you don't produce freaking identical things that look like the pure thing, that pisses me off. That one I'm not okay with.
No, no, no. That no, that I get. No, yeah.
Yeah.
You're kind of turning me into that there, Dom. I feel I'm going into the pure route, kind of.
Into a jaded asshole, or
No, just purist. I don't know. You know how it is. I've had a few people tell me they want to take like the gelatin and like breed it to either a jungle or a coastal, and I'm like, I don't want that person to have it now. Anyway, it's just
So-
me.
So what if I told you I want to breed your gelatin to my albino Darwin? How would you feel about that?
No,
Why not? It's pure.
yeah, but we don't need albino gelatins, do we?
So my argument to that is that it's still pure. You're breeding a locality to just non-locality Darwins. You're producing just Darwins that no longer have a locality attached to it, but you're mixing blood of Darwin with Darwin, which still makes it a Darwin in the end. Is it not okay? I'm being like, I get the like, why do that? But why not? The question is why not, right? Why wouldn't
Can
you?
you-
There's
Can you imagine that stripe?
I don't know. Like, would you do it, Ish? Do you see a problem with that? I'm curious. Like, it's
I probably wouldn't do it with a gelatin.
so why not?
I don't know. I don't know. The same reason why I now wouldn't really mix like my northern coastals with my southern coastals.
All right, let me mix it up even more for you. How
Yeah.
about your jungles to your northern coastals?
Well, I don't have that one jungle that was like mostly jungle. I don't have her anymore, but like the other jungles, I'm not gonna mix them with coastals. Like they're already like they're pure for what you want to call them, but I don't want to mix them. Like I don't want to make the mixes. The mixes I've already made were animals with mixes that basically animals that were already mixed.
But is it really a mix? Is a jungle is a Chennai, and if you look at northern coastals, are they not Chennai too?
Yeah, I get it, but I don't want to be that guy.
Um,
I get it. I get it, but I don't. I know it's done, but I don't want to be that guy.
and I'm prodding the stick at you, right? Just for fun. I just want to be clear that I'm
I
not that
know.
guy
It's like
either.
I
I
don't.
don't. I would never do that. But technically, it's fine.
It's like you can technically, but it's like I feel no. I still feel icky with that. Like I don't want to do it. Like I know people. I just like, I get people who've done. I don't want to do it. It's like eh.
I kind of had that when I first started. When I met you, Dom, I didn't know what to put with what, and I think now I've kind of. I personally feel like I've refined things. I know I have like Noah's Ark here, but I still have like somewhat of a goal. Like I got the ivories. I want to make that a whiter snake. The gelatin. I want to get the striping better, right? Do I want to mix it? No. I mean, if I want to mix something, I have something. I'm looking to make an albino super zebra. I'm still working on that. I've had a few shots. I lost my male zebra. Now I gotta grow one up. I have a male super zebra het albino that if he can eat enough, he might make it to this big female I have. She's pretty big. But that's my designer project. I mean, apart from that, all the other stuff I have is pretty much pure. I don't have anything else that's not. I got rid of all the other stuff. Like all the other stuff is the coastal tiger stuff that Dom gave me, and then I got the jungle stuff. I've kept that all pure, and then the stuff that I imported in. So, yeah, I don't know. I've kind of done those days now.
Yeah, it's kind of funny when you look at your evolution as a keeper, right? Same way with you. I look at my first carpets. My first carpets weren't pure. It was a coastal with tons of reds. It was probably like a half Papuan and half coastals. And I've gone and did the whole crazy, like I was telling him, like me and Shan, I don't know if you know this or not, but our biggest project, we wanted to produce white carpets. It was all about producing a white carpets, and it's been like 4 or 5 years ago we had the triple het. I'm calling them triple het, but they weren't. Caramel, het exanthic, het albinos. And we produced a clutch of those, and we raised up freaking a small army of like 8 to 4.4, and never bred them. I think we let them all go. We all sold them slowly away, and it was just one of those things where it was like, do I really want to get into that project? Do I really want to produce that to hit my magic 1 out of 64 to get a snow? I got to produce all this, I'm going to say it, all this garbage, right? Is all of this offshoot of crosses between a Darwin and crosses between, Darwin coastal. And so to me, that's just, it's a cross, right? It's no longer a pure species. And you've got all these animals that are possible hets that might have one gene or not. And I don't know. It turned out that I just, no matter how long, and I'd been working on that project for I was like 6-7 years in now into that project, and I just decided I'm done. And at this point, I don't know if people know this, I only have one designer project left, and I can argue you that it's still pure. So I have one designer project in my entire collection, and it's albino granite. So one could argue it's pure. Is it pure? I don't know, but I produced one albino granite multiple years ago. He is the shittiest feeder, never eats. It's a tiny little girl. She is 3.5 years old, and she's about 2 feet long. She only eats pinkies. Pinky anything, she won't eat anything bigger, she doesn't grow. So, but I have all the ingredients, I've done it before, and I keep telling myself technically it's pure, but is it? But technically it is. So, and that's really, I can see, if for all the people not watching the video, guys, Ish has got that grin and the little eyes and the wrinkles in his face. Just, it's that look of just disappointment. Anyway, so that is my only designer technically pairing, which I don't even have a pair. I didn't breed anything again to produce them this year, but I still have all the ingredients, and I wonder sometimes, am I doing it? Am I not? And I'm raising granites that are 100% het for albino and all that, and I still have not gotten rid of them, but it is my only non-technically pure pairing, and it's tough because I still want to produce them. I think albino granites are one of the coolest look, but I don't know.
I only have one animal left from you. I have a yearling, 2024. Yeah, so a little bit more than a yearling. 2 years. It's an albino het granite. I don't have a female. I don't have anything. I kind of got rid of everything. I just have this one male. Maybe we'll put him to something that you have, Dom. I don't know. See what happens.
Yeah, I've got the girls. I just haven't decided if I'm going to go through with it or if we'll end up sending them to Ish. We'll see. So Hi. So, Ish, would you say you're a purist at heart, or would you do some of those projects?
I won't say that I'm a purist at heart because I don't have things that like if I if for me to say I'm a purist at heart, everything here would have to be pure, but I don't. Not everything here is pure. Um, but if something like I'm not gonna be like I don't know like I just wouldn't take a pure like I probably wouldn't. Hmm, See, that's I can't say that I'm a purist because I wouldn't put a female diamond into a coastal, but I would put a male diamond into a female coastal. So by that definition, I'm like, okay, I can't say that I'm a purist at heart. So, but yeah, I can't. I'm gonna get hate mail for that one, but whatever. But I wouldn't take like I don't know, like I wouldn't put my diamond to my inlands. Which is weird. I get that it's weird because what the one subspecies to the other, but I don't know. I just I don't know. Maybe because maybe I don't know. Like maybe if I don't know. I just feel like there needs to be like more stuff. I don't know. I don't feel right doing that. Like maybe if inlands were a little bit more available, maybe, but I don't know. I don't plan to do that.
No, I hear you. So I'll give you an example that I struggled with for many, many years. I ended up never ever doing it, but I've had so in Canada, inlands used to be the hardest thing to get. There was, if you look about 8 years ago, there was none. I had one male inland. It took me about 7 years, and I managed to bring in two females, and both of those females turned out males. So I never ever had, but for the longest time, I had one adult male and no females. And you know what pairing I was always looking at and wondering? I wanted to put that inland to a big female albino Darwin. Because if you look at a 50% cross inland Darwin albino, they're insane. Have you seen what they look like? It is
I've never
incredible.
seen
Like
that.
their colors are just. I think they're one of the most stunning albinos out there. But year after year, I think I went 4 or 5 years of that inland male just cruising the cages with nowhere to go, right? Because he had no girls. And every year I was like, oh man, I could do it. I'm not doing it. I could do it. I'm not doing it. And anyway, I ended up never doing it. But I've always wondered. That's one of those pairings that I don't even know if anybody in the states are doing it, but there's in Oz I see it all the time. Just like the Bredli, the 50% Bredli Darwin albinos are ridiculous as well.
I like those.
They're pretty.
They're like sunglow almost, eh?
The red is so vibrant, it's insane.
I know. It is.
So, all right. Where do you want to go with the conversation, Shen? You got anything?
Well, I got a something. I know you're a vet tech. I've basically I've seen some of your podcasts or heard some of your podcasts, and I know that you're a vet tech. Do you? But it's mainly for animals, right, and not reptiles. Do you ever get anybody coming to you for advice on reptiles or
Um,
anything like that, or see them in your
so
in your
just
field?
small practice. So when I do small practice, I do see them from time to time. So like small clinics, but nothing like in emergency settings. So I work mainly in neurology these days. So just because it's neurology, I don't see reptiles. But if I do per diem in some general practice, I will actually see them from time to time. So they've become a little bit more. I don't, yeah, a little bit more mainstream. Like they're not like people don't look at them the way they used to, like 20 or so years ago, where people are like, oh, you're the weird reptile guy. Like, and now it's just like, okay, whatever. But I don't have. I just tend to not deal with that like on my day to day. So, which is actually a good thing because just with what I deal with over there, like I don't want to bring like I would always shower before going into the snake room. Like I can deal. I can. It's cool to see them every once in a while, but. I'm actually glad I don't see them as often as I do, just because of that whole added biosecurity risk. So, because something's coming in, it's usually not for anything good. So, um, and I'm very like particular with that. Like I have not been to a reptile show for I think since 2023, perhaps. And number one is like I don't have anything to get there, so I'm just like if I go there, it's usually with purpose. But I just that whole headache of this like potentially bringing something home, I'm not a fan of it. So last time I went, as soon as I got home, I stripped everything, went into the bag, into the wash, and I went straight into the shower. Like I don't want to be anywhere near the rooms after that. So, um, but it's just it though. Like that's just I'm actually glad I don't deal with that. Same thing with the mammal stuff. Like I get home, shower, then I'll deal with then I'll deal with my dogs. But it's just safer that way.
So to add to that question, because we're in Canada and things here are a little different, and Dom will admit it. So first thing, if I need to go see a vet for reptiles or for exotics, we him and I think about one particular vet. And is it the same way in the United States as you guys? Like there's a lot of vets out in Canada. There's a few that work with reptiles, but they mainly work with the animals, but don't really work with the exotics. We have one pretty much main exotic reptile vet, and I got to travel 2 hours to go see him, but it's worth it. I mean, he will. I just feel better when I see him because he's got such a great amount of knowledge. Where I've been, so in my past, I used to work at a pet store, and we used to have, and I'm talking about like back in the 90s, early 90s, mid 90s. We used to have vets come and check out our animals all the time, and then we'd ask them questions on exotics, and it's like the she'd try to give you the best answer you want to hear, but you're really like, they had no idea, right? So that's
It's just they're not mainstay. Like and there's like in with vet tech becoming vet technology. Like there's only like one class in exotics you'll get, and that's probably like what a lot of people deal with. So there's not a lot of reptile knowledgeable. Like now it's a little easier in the city, like here in New York. Like you can actually there's entire hospitals that are actually dedicated to exotics, but this was not something that was common 15, 20 years ago. So, um, like sometimes it would be like you working with a vet and the vet has some knowledge of something, like they'll have Python knowledge, but they've never worked with a carpet python. So they'll be like, well, Python's a Python, and they'll kind of make do with what they have. But um, in an urban setting like here, it's not that difficult to actually find a reptile vet. Finding one that's like really good is an entirely different thing, but it's a little easier to find them here. I know other places, it's just like region, like other places you cannot find one for a decent radius. So I guess one of the perks of working, like being near the city.
Yeah, fair enough. So my next question I want to go down. So seeing that you're a vet tech, I'd love your opinion on it. So the big boogeyman of Morelia is Nido or serpentovirus. So how do you feel about it? Is it as bad as people say? Is it really not that bad, and you don't need to worry about? Where do you stand? Because I've heard it both ways from
Uh,
multiple people. So I'd love your opinion specifically.
oh, that question, that dreaded question. I think it's unrealistic to say that if someone has more than 15 snakes that there's with numbers there comes that increased likelihood, but now with the information that's out there we know that it's not just one thing, it's many different things. And it's like I always compare this to feline enteric coronavirus in cats. So with cats, you have some cats who test positive for like feline coronavirus, and some of these cats later go on to have like feline infectious peritonitis or FIP, and no one really knows what did it, but it's like A lot of cats do carry it. Whether or not they go to develop disease is an entirely different story. I think with reptiles, it's a little bit behind compared to the mammalian stuff, but and then also there's the whole added thing like, well, who wants to fund a snake virus? Like, how many people like, oh, well, the only good snake is a dead snake. So it's not something we're going to be lacking behind that. With that being said, I think people just need to be aware of where they get their animals from, just quarantine their animals. Um, Different tests out there seem to work one way, and sometimes they're not entirely accurate. Okay, I get it. It's a little cost prohibitive to actually like get everything sent out to University of Florida, but also it's like just common sense practices. Don't work with adults the same day you get to work with your babies. Keep your babies in a separate room if you can. If you can't do that, then work with your babies first and your adults should be last, and just do the babies an entirely different day all by themselves. Quarantine animals are quarantine animals, like you deal with them dead last. You do not go into your main snake room until you've showered and changed your clothes. Just mitigating these things will kind of like help this sort of thing. And just like with husbandry, just like wear gloves, wash your hands. Don't offer the don't offer the prey item that one animal refused, then just like, okay, well, I'm gonna feed it to something else because the garbage disposal, like, don't do that. But just like your risk is probably never gonna be zero, but things are immensely, like, just drastically reduced. So, um, test anything that acts sick if it acts sick. Um, but that's how I would approach it. So.
All right, and the second part of that question. So, let's say you've got a sick animal now in your cage, and your care, it tests positive. What do you do? Are you keeping it? Are you euthanizing it? Are you moving it?
So if I can move it out, so here's the thing: if it's acting sick and testing positive, it's probably going to get euthanized. But if it's like acting healthy and it just happens to turn up positive, like, okay, like, I can isolate the animal and the animal can live in quarantine. But it's more like I don't want an act, but I'm probably gonna like butcher this, but it's like there's a lot we don't know, and if the animal's not acting sick, like, why is the animal not acting sick? Like, there's just so many different factors that come to it, but I'm not going to keep anything that's got a bubbly nose in my room if if something just happens to be all bubbly. But that's also just like common sense. Um, Now, whether or not it's like healthy and just happens to test positive, like, okay, well, now what? But I don't know. I just like I think just with Morelia for what they are, I think it's not it's a little bit more prevalent than what we understand it to be. Um, but that's just how I approach it. Like, just test anything that's sick. But am I gonna go feverishly like testing every single animal now? Probably not. But I'm also just gonna be very fussy with my husbandry practices. So gloves, washing your hands in between. Um, no, basically, let's say if you have like a cohort of like four animals in a certain area, I say four because my collection is small. Like, that's the only thing I'm using those gloves on. And but even in between working with those animals, I'm putting hand sanitizer on and just like letting it dry. So it's like, again, it's like all mitigation. So, and just people just need to just watch your animals carefully. You'll understand. You'll if you're watching your animals, you know what your animals act like when they're healthy. You know when something is off. Just watch your animals and just like be prepared to like get diagnostics run on that animal. So,
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I don't disagree with you. I'm not a fan of gloves personally, so I think the majority of people don't realize how to wear gloves or when to change gloves. I think once you work in the medical field, you realize how I can change gloves like 15 times in 3 minutes if I need to, and people don't. Like, gloves are meant to be thrown away. They're meant to just be a continuous layer you continuously remove and all that. And I find in a cage, I don't know, I look at everybody and I'm just thinking of all the ways that people work. They probably have a glove. Even if they do one cage, then they go, they touch something else, they grab the pot of water, put water in it. They're like, oh, I'm done the cage without realizing they touched the glove to the pot of water, and the pot of water is going to be the same one they put in the next one. I feel like people don't, like, they get a safety out of gloves that that's not there. The glove does no difference. Whether you're wearing a glove or washing your hands in between with alcohol, it's the same thing. The question is, what did you do in between? I don't know. I'm not sure that gloves is really the answer in our hobby, but it's another layer of protection if you know how often you have to change them, and or if you work in a practice that is like, I have this bank of cages, I do gloves in this entire bank using only this equipment. When I'm done, I throw out the gloves, next glove for the next bank, and you're like, well, if something has in this bank, they all have it, right? So I could see that.
Yeah, my thing is like I work in surgery. Like my day to day is like I work in anesthesia, so like changing gloves frequently is like I get like I'm already used to that, so like it's no different. So just here it's just like I'm at home, and it's maybe not as sterile as a surgery would be because let's be for real, like if in order for something to be like sterile, it has to be like processed in a way that it's sterile. So these gloves are not sterile. So I'm not going in and I'm not working with like sterile surgeon's gloves. Like that's not happening. So, but that's just how I do it. Like, your people don't realize that they're actually like how big of a fomite they can be, and that's like an entirely different subject for an entirely different day. But it's like things get under your nails. Things like if you don't wash your hands properly. Um, to your point, yes, the gloves are probably not perfect, but if people are cleaning the surfaces that they're touching with those gloves, so paper towels to the area that was actually touched, but like if you're using a water pitcher, that's how I would do it. But I get exactly where you're coming from, and I get how that can actually go sideways very quickly if one's not careful.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is, right? I'm in the medical field too, so I totally get it. I'm gonna try to switch it up. Finish with one or two questions, but finish maybe on a more positive notes than this. So, how about this, Ish? Do you see yourself bringing something else in your collection, and where do you see the hobby? Let's say the Morelia hobby going forward. Do you see it as a positive thing, negative thing? Do you see us? Where do you see us
Well,
going?
overall, it's a positive thing. Like with Morelia, it was always a positive thing. Like within that whole group, there's always going to be negatives and positives, but that's with everything. That's everything. There's always some sort of negative, but it's nice to see that Morelia becoming a little bit more mainstream. So um, they're great for what they are. Like they're a good intermediate snake, and if you're potentially a good beginner snake if you actually do your research properly. But now, anything I personally plan on bringing, nothing really, to be honest. My room's not big enough for all of that, so I'm not really looking into anything like no news projects. So just work with what I have and just enjoy that, enjoy the animals that I actually do have.
Shan, you got a closing questions or anything you want to ask before we slowly start closing it up?
Uh, I can't think of one right this second. Sorry.
That's all right. Well,
Yeah.
first off, I want to tell everybody thank you. CornellsWorld.com, if anybody doesn't know our sponsor. Great guy, Greg West. Great cages. Great reptile show. Log on to him. Ish. I really appreciate you taking a good 2 hours of your evening on this fine Sunday night. Appreciate it. Love any fellow
Word.
carpet python breeder out there. Love chatting. These are the shows that I like. So, when Mike's not there, we purposely make sure we have a carpet python guy just because it's fun and this way we can enjoy it. So thanks a lot for joining on. Do you want to maybe
Of
tell
course.
people how to get a hold of you if they want to reach out to you, if they want to buy some reds for you? How do they go and do that?
So basically, IQ Exotics on all the things. So IQ Exotics on Instagram, IQ Exotics on Facebook. I've had people message me on my personal Facebook account, and sometimes those messages don't get seen. So just um, IQ Exotics on Instagram is probably the quickest way to get a hold of me. But yeah, so of course, IQExotics at gmail.com if like someone who wants to send an email for whatever reason.
Perfect. How about you, Shan? You want to drop your info there?
It's just Shan Melanson, either on Facebook, Instagram. Yeah, can message me anytime you want to talk snakes or mainly the stuff I have
Oh,
now. I have um, a few pygmies we
sorry,
have to
my
go, and
timer went
then we
off.
have a few super zebras jungles that I have. Pretty much that's it for the year. A few brettles that are ready to go, but that's about it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think you've got about 5 or 6 bridles left. We have maybe 3 inlands left, maybe five, 3 to 4 jungles left, and a few baby pygmies. I think we have less than 20 animals in total. Which, considering both of us together bred, frig, I don't even know how many babies we had last year together. Over 200.
Yes,
Yeah, easily over 200. Because I had 100. You destroyed me. You got like 150 last year. It was insane.
163, I
Jesus
think.
Christ. Yeah, you.
Not everything hatched. Don't get me wrong, but I'll
Yeah,
never do that again. I won't do that again. It was nice to do it one year to, I guess you want to say, show my stuff. But anyway, yeah, that's a little overwhelming there. That was
yeah.
a lot.
That's way too much for me. But considering we're down to 20 or less left for sale, I think we did pretty good.
You
Um,
did.
yeah, so on that note, everybody, thanks for logging on. If you want to reach Michael, well, he should have been here to put away his contacts and let you know how to. No, I'm just kidding. Michael Gillian on Facebook, just reach out to him. Reptile Rejects on Instagram, you'll be chatting with Mike. If you want to drop a line, if you have a guest you want to hear, let us know. If you have things you want to ask, let us know. If you want to complain, talk to Mike. And except for that, everybody, thanks for logging on. I appreciate it. Ish,
Thanks, Ish.
great guest.
Thanks, Ish.
Appreciate it. And
No worries.
everybody, have a good night. And
No worries.
Ish,
Thanks for having me on.
don't
Thanks
press
for
the
having
leave
me
button.
on.
Ish, don't press the leave button. Stay on there, okay? And everybody,
Thanks for having me on,
Shan,
Dom.
you're a great host,
All
man. I
right.
appreciate you jumping on anytime. And to everybody, have a good
Appreciate
night.
it.
We'll see you next week.
Have a good night.
Ciao. And